Beginning, the arrival of the Invincible. The distant hum of the starship corridor was broken only by the rhythmic beep of the navigation panel. I had been flying through the outer rim sectors for weeks, scavenging derelict freighters and avoiding pirate patrols. Space was quiet here, but silence didn't mean safety. Then came the alert, an unknown ship entering our sector. It wasn't like the usual smuggling vessels or rebel scouts. This was massive, regal, and undeniably dangerous. Its hull gleamed with black alloys I had only seen in Imperial archives. A single insignia blinked ominously in red, the mark of the warrior queen, Zorinthia. Stories of her preceded her like a shadow. Entire fleets had fallen before her. Planets had surrendered at her mere approach. She was said to be invincible, a tactician who could crush armies alone. And now, she had found me. The communications panel crackled, and her voice filled the cabin. "You will never defeat me, human." Her words were calm but cold. I could feel the arrogance radiating through the comm, a lethal confidence. She believed what every legend claimed, that no human, no matter how cunning, could challenge her. "Well," I muttered, leaning back in my chair, "guess we'll see about that." Middle, clash of minds and might. She dropped out of warp in my sector without warning, her ship a sleek predator in the void. I initiated evasive maneuvers, weaving through the asteroid belt, hoping to use terrain as a shield. But her ship followed effortlessly, cutting through space like a blade. A volley of plasma bolts erupted from her front cannons, slicing through a nearby asteroid. Sparks rained down on my hull, and alarms blared. I returned fire with my cannons, scoring minor hits on her deflector shields. Still, each of my attacks barely grazed her armor. The comms buzzed again. "Your weapons are useless. Surrender now, human. Accept your fate." I gritted my teeth, refusing to yield. "Not today, Zorinthia." The real fight began when we boarded each other's ships. She didn't just attack from afar, she struck at close range, landing with deadly grace in my cockpit. Her armor glimmered black and violet, energy coursing through the edges like a living thing. Her sword hummed as she drew it, a blade that could cut through titanium like paper. I raised my own weapon, a hybrid plasma blaster I had rigged from scavenged parts. Our eyes locked, the legends of her invincibility staring me down. Then, with a speed I hadn't expected, she lunged. I rolled to the side, firing in quick bursts. Sparks flew as her blade met the hull, leaving glowing trails in the air. Every strike was calculated, precise, but I noticed the tiniest flaw a fraction of a second where her weight shifted too far forward, a gap in her defense. I waited, baited her into another strike, and then, with a combination of agility and luck, I toppled her momentarily. She hit the deck with a grunt, armor sparking where she landed. Her eyes widened not in anger, but in shock. For the first time, the human had matched her. You can fight," she breathed, struggling to rise. I smirked, panting. "Not just fight. I can win." Her pride flared, and she rose again, faster, angrier. Our duel continued, metal clashing, energy bolts flying, each of us pushing the other to our limits. The turning point, the mind game. Then came the moment that would define everything. She wasn't just a warrior, she was a strategist, a queen of the battlefield. She began predicting my moves, forcing me into defensive stances, her attacks synchronized with precision. Every strike, every feint was designed to exhaust me mentally before physically. But I had one advantage she underestimated: unpredictability. I wasn't trained in her empire's militaristic tactics. I was human, flawed, and chaotic. I let instinct guide me. I feinted left, rolled behind a console, and detonated a makeshift EMP grenade I had rigged earlier. Her armor shimmered as energy coursed through it. Systems faltered. Her attacks slowed, Her eyes flickered with surprise. The invincible queen was vulnerable. I seized the moment, pressing forward with precision, disarming her blade and forcing her back. She stumbled, and for a heartbeat, I saw something I hadn't expected: respect. A flicker of acknowledgement that the human before her was no ordinary opponent. "You are persistent," she gasped, her breath ragged. "I don't give up," I said. "And neither do humans." Ending the lesson of invincibility. The fight reached its climax in the main chamber of my ship. Her weapons were down, her energy shields flickering. She fell to one knee, and for the first time in her storied career, she surrendered not in words, but in gesture. "I underestimated you," she whispered. "Perhaps humans are not so fragile after all. I didn't lower my weapon entirely. You're powerful, Zerinthia, but not unbeatable." She nodded slowly, comprehension dawning. "I will remember this, human. Today, I learned humility. Today, I learned that invincibility is a myth." We stood there, silence heavy but not hostile. There was no need for further violence. She had seen the truth: a human, clever and determined, could challenge the mightiest of warriors. We parted ways, both changed. Her ship disengaged, engines thrumming as she disappeared into the starfield. I watched her go, knowing that the galaxy would speak of this encounter for years. The warrior queen thought she was invincible, until I fought back. And in that, a legend was rewritten. Epilogue: A human's triumph. Months later, rumors spread across the outer systems. A human had bested the invincible queen of Zerinthia, not through sheer strength, but through courage, creativity, and the indomitable will to survive. Other warriors approached me cautiously, whispers of respect in their eyes. I returned to my scavenging, my ship patched and upgraded, but I carried the memory of that duel like a badge. Invincibility, I realized, was never about perfection, it was about fear. And sometimes, the bravest act is simply to stand and fight, even when the odds are astronomical. In the quiet of space, with stars stretching endlessly, I smiled. The warrior queen was gone, but the lesson remained: no one is truly invincible. Not even her.